Dear CEOs and industry leaders, you are most graciously welcome to Akulmac Business Bunker. This is a forum where you are able to showcase your products to the masses, to the investor, to the prospects, and to your client. And if you want to promote your company and yourself, you have landed at the right place. Before we continue, do like and subscribe our channel. Hello, friends. Welcome to Akulmac Business Bunker. And today is Friday. We discuss the survey results. As you know, that we conduct a weekly survey, and we bring the survey results and discuss along with the experts. And the platform that we are today present is called Business Bunker. We actually allow our expert panel to basically build their online presence. This is a forum where business can get to know each other, and while the B2B interaction is going on, they can also leverage this presence and reach out to their clientele. So, this is a platform which is used widely um, for reaching out to the masses to build your brand equity, to generate your organic leads, and also networking with the people. This is the most important activity that we have. We should be able to network with each other. We should be able to tell each other what is our USPs, how we can collaborate with each other, and what are the services that are being offered, and how it can be useful for the people by and large. So, this is a brief introduction, and before I start, let me invite our guest today. Uh, our guest is Kanchan Verma. She is joining us from Delhi. Kanchan, welcome to the show and introduce yourself, please.
Thank you so much, and it's always pleasure to be part of your show. And I'm here in the capacity of representing Akulmac. Akulmac is a social branding platform. We have a robust system. I would like to invite people to use this platform to leverage this platform regarding their products and services. I would like to invite people out there to talk about their product, and I am sure that it will be very beneficial in the long run.
Welcome to the show, Kanchan. And viewers, I must tell you that we are live right now on six social media platforms. And if you want to reach out to us, you can actually use the chat function in your social media and send in your comments, send in any questions you have, any suggestions that you may have, and we will display your name right away and read out your question and address your concern. So before we start our discussion, Kanchan, I would like to tell you that last week we conducted a survey regarding the LIC IPO. And the LIC IPO, I mean, you must be thinking why we are discussing about it. What is so big about discussing about LIC IPO? So the LIC is one of the first Indian PSU. Is one of the oldest and it's pretty large. And when they are coming out with IPO, you will actually appreciate when I display the survey results that a lot of people really care about what is going on and why it is significant. So before I start showing you the survey results, this is something that I wanted to inform you. Do you have any opinion before I share the survey?
Sorry, can you please repeat what you said?
I was saying that before I share the survey results, you have any opinion on LIC IPO, which we are going to discuss today?
I think it's a great move by Finance Minister Mrs. Raman, because if you recall, it already prescribed in 2020, and it's been already delayed for 1 year. And I think it's a great opportunity for people as well as for investors. So I think good move, and I think that will enhance in a way a part economy when we're talking about India.
Great. So let me display the survey results. And we had actually carried out the survey on the social media. There were four questions asked. One was how this LIC IPO is going to benefit. I mean, that's a basic question, and people responded that it will help us in many ways. And how people are perceiving this move by the government is basically as they are saying that this is maybe a future to privatization. This is what the people are feeling, and therefore 44% of the people said that this is a sort of a privatization which is going to start now, especially with this huge IPO which is coming out with LIC. And before I actually go to the next point and get into a discussion, I also wanted to showcase some information which is not directly linked to LIC, but people who are watching us who are not from India and people who do not know what are these PSUs, I want to clarify that. PSUs are the private company which are owned by the government of India, and we call them PSUs. In UK also there are such companies, and they are also called as parastatals. Uh, Now, in India, these PSUs are not the government departments. These are the private companies indulging in private activities like construction and stuff like that. So, LIC is one of them. If you look at the journey of Indian PSUs, when India got independence in 1947, after that, in 1951, we had only five PSUs in the country. And as per the survey conducted in 2019, there are 365 PSUs, which also includes seven PSUs which are dedicated only in defense area. Now, if you look at this whole mass of private companies owned by government of India, their revenue is equal to 300 billion US dollars every year. So they are, I mean, if you look at their revenue, they are much, much bigger than the many countries today. Their GDP is much, much bigger than the GDP of many countries today. So this is only a small segment. It is only 1% of the Indian economy, and these are the private companies which are giving employment to 1.5 million people in India. So they are a force to reckon with. They have a substantial manpower with them. They do substantial business, and LIC is basically one of the oldest and one of the largest public sector undertaking which is in the business of life insurance. So let me go back to the survey conducted. So having given the background of the public sector undertaking, the size of this IPO is almost 42 million US dollars. So that is the second survey results that people are quite aware. They are thinking this as a big money changer for the Indian economy. The first 2 points, which are almost equal in terms of survey results, one is future of privatization, and second is there will be extra funding available of the extent of almost 42 million US dollars. So this is very, very big. This is going to fuel the economy even after pandemic. So much is riding on this IPO which is going to come out. So let's go back to our panel discussion. Kanjan, I will keep coming back on this survey results, but you have seen the survey results. What is your opinion? There are two, let me repeat, there are 2 points that primarily people have voted. Almost 100% people voted for 2 points. One is uh, this is how the privatization may be enhanced by the government of India by launching their own IPOs in their own companies, which are owned by themselves. So that is one. Second is it is going to bring this IPO alone is going to bring 42 million US dollars worth of revenue in the Indian economy. a fresh influx of revenue in the Indian economy, and that is why people are so excited. Your opinion, Kanchan?
Well, I think it's a great move by done by government, and it is been pending. Many people say it's not the right time, but I think there's when India is progressing and government is asking for foreign companies invest in India. Um, I think this is a great move because that will enhance, that will also uplift the investor. Plus, you have general public can also participate, and I think it's a move towards privatization. And what a move when we are talking about LIC, which is one of the greatest asset when we talk about the Indian economy. So that is a great move, and I feel that this IPO is very good. I think it is costing around 400 to 600 rupees. So I think that will give around some 18 billion cash for Indian economy. Sorry. So I think that is something very good, and it's a very optimistic and very great move.
So, viewers, if you have a comment or suggestion on this, you can reach out to us using the chat function in the social media platforms, or you can actually get connected with us directly by pointing your mobile phone camera on this QR code, and without typing anything, you will get connected straight away. So, moving on, Kanchan, I think that point was very well made, and I want to add from my side is that this is the power of the India. This is a soft power of India, because we never think about these things. These large organizations like LIC is there, SBI is there, and I'm not talking about the government departments like Indian Railways, which is again another mammoth. They are much much bigger than what we are talking about. We are only talking about 1% of the Indian economy, which is owned by the government, and these companies are listed also on the stock market. So they are actually like a private company but owned by the government of India, and they look after certain core segments like insurance in this case, or construction of bridges, construction of other infrastructure, roads, etc. So I think these are very very big soft power. And imagine if some of these IPOs are also released. Other PSU IPOs are also released. How much money they are worth? So India is actually sitting on so much of cash which is waiting to be realized, and we have never thought about it before. And that is why most of the people, if you look at the survey results, also people are quite excited about, and they are voting for these two options, which is future of privatization and also influx of fresh revenue in the Indian economy. So while 11% people feel that they are going to divest, this is a starting point of divesting in PSUs, which is okay. But I think these are the main points which are going to be driven today in our discussion. Do you agree that we have so much of soft power in terms of revenue, in terms of our ability to generate revenue globally? Your opinion, Kanchan?
Yeah, I think that India, a few PSUs are very powerful, and I think it's a step forward when we are talking about IPO of LIC. And when we look into the LIC itself having 1.3 million agents and more than 250 million policy holders. So that gives a lot of weightage to LIC, and a part of this, I think it's very important for India to push the listing of LIC forward, because that will enable many things to come up, and that is a way going forward. I think if everything goes well, it will be a series of privatization of all government undertaking companies, and that benefit Indian economy in a long way.
I agree with you. In fact, talking about LIC, it is not a small company. I mean, if you look at any other large insurance company, life insurance company globally, and compare the data that LIC hold is huge. There is no supercomputer which can handle the data of the policy holders that LIC has. And some of the policies are very, very old. In fact, they have been running since 1951, and all the data which is required to handle the LIC has divided their operations into 8 zones within India. So even though it is centralized, but there are different 8 data centers they have to manage all the data points of all these millions of policy holders in India. And these zones are actually headed by general managers. The general managers, even though they are namesake general managers, but their ranking is equal to a CEO. So they run pretty much that zone. And their LIC as an organization is huge because they are always cash rich. They get a lot of money because they are providing the life insurance cover, etc. And if you look at India as a market, there are about 30 to 35 life insurance companies, which includes government as well as the private sector. But LIC has 80% market share. So when they are coming out with an IPO, that means they're floating a fresh request for funding into their profitable business, already profitable business. Uh, why when you said that it is being sold at 500 rupees, because the value of a 10 rupee at par share is 500 times. So you can imagine that before they start actually coming IPO, they're already oversubscribed by 500 times in terms of value of their share, which is now coming out. And moment you buy the share is going to increase. It is going to go up because there is no way LIC can make a loss because they have so many policies already. They have all the infrastructure in place. So there is no way the share value is going to go below this. It is going to go up. So that is why people are so excited when they look at the IPO from a profitable company. Everybody wants to invest in that company, and there could be investment coming from overseas also. So the size of this IPO is so huge. You know, it's like 42 million. It's not like 1 million some companies raising or 2 million some company. It's like a 42 million to start with, and from there it is going to rise above, isn't it, Kanchan?
Yeah, I also want to add one thing of opportunity, which is there maybe for next 20 years. Who will enable that? Because now people will be more inclined to park their money in Indian banks and in India. So I think that is a way ahead for a progressive economy when we are talking about when we really look into the economic development of India. So I think it's a great move, and uh, uh, people are ready because to invest, people are ready to work, people are ready to progress. We are young India, and we have skills, know-how, and then government is also boosting through these kind of steps declaring IPO of LIC, which is a great concern and great move.
Well, I think the government steps are very gutsy because normally when the government is doing certain things, there could be a lot of voices which can be heard in the media, etc. That you're privatizing your assets, etc. But I think there are checks and balances in India. Uh, the hostile takeover can never happen because the regulatory authority of stock markets will ensure that the exposure of any organization is not more than 20% in the stock market. So there is no risk And LIC is a very huge organization. In fact, this is second one which we keep hearing. The first one was Air India, which is now already privatized completely. Uh, it was acquired in 1970s by the government, and government did not know how to run airlines, so they actually parted ways and they have completely privatized this particular airlines. However, in the case of LIC, it is not going to be like that, because this is a listed company, and the IPO is also coming on the stock exchange. And there are so many other public sector undertakings here, which have the potential of getting privatized. Uh, and there is so much potential here in India, where there are large companies which are indulging in large road projects, rail projects, and also the bullet train which is coming out in India, the metro, which is also a private company, and things like that. There are so many. There are 365 which are there listed in the market, and their IPOs, which will increase the the footprint in the retail segment. Especially, a lot of small investors will find avenue for investing profitably. See, normally when you invest, then most of the time you lose money. But in case of these PSUs which are doing business, and especially example of LIC, which will never generate any loss. There is no possibility of generating loss. So I think this is a good avenue for even Indian people to start finding avenues for investment. And I think that is what the business is all about. I mean, a businessman would like to invest safely, and to make sure that after a year there could be some return on his investment. So I think this is a very good opportunity for small investors to invest profitably. And LIC is just one example, but there could be other PSUs which can also come out with their IPOs, isn't it, Kanchan?
It is not only LIC IPO, but I think that will also give rise uh, to other sectors also. That will give boost to other sectors also, and that is critical. And that is why I really many thinkers and many commentators, they that it is not a right time for IPO to be privatized, or LIC should declare the IPO. But I think there's no right time. I think this is the right time, and when we are thinking about rise in that boost to other sectors equally. So that I just wanted to add to your comment.
Excellent. So, people who are watching us now, the survey result shows that how people are anticipating and eagerly waiting for this IPO to come, and simply because of the the how people have voted. It's like almost like 100% people voted for the LIC, and a lot of people are waiting for this LIC IPO to come, and so that they can invest their money. Uh, it is, this survey was completely one sided. I mean, a lot of people are aware, and the awareness levels are very very high. People are following, and especially after pandemic, people want to invest in something which can give them safe returns, high returns, long term returns. These kind of things are becoming very very important. So and especially if you look at the soft power of India in terms of sheer numbers. I mean, if you look at the numbers that you're also talking about, so many millions of policies LIC have, and stuff like that. So even the policy holders are getting some benefit by this IPO, because they will also get to invest in the policies that they are actually holding. So that is another good thing. The policy holder is also allowed to invest in LIC IPO. At the same time, now because of the digital economy, lot of these IPOs can be directly paid for using your digital micro payment platforms. So even if you want to buy just one share, you can use things like Paytm or Beam or things like that. Everywhere, you don't have to go and fill a form or things like that. So if you want to buy an IPO, you can go to Paytm and provide your details, and you can buy the digital pay digitally for the IPO and get the digital certificate of your IPO. So I think it is going to be very serious. This is a new segment. When I say new segment, that means the buyers of this IPO are also new, because there could be first investors in the stock market. And for a first time investor, it is very important not to lose money. So that is why LIC IPO will be very, very important, because for the first time when they are investing, they know that, okay, this is going to give me a return on investment after 2 years or 3 years. It is going to double my money or triple my money and stuff like that. So that is why this is very, very exciting, especially for the masses, and that is why the survey results are almost one-sided towards the privatization, towards influx of fresh funds into Indian economy. I think this is a good sign, in my opinion. I think this is showing us the good path, and path towards recovery. I think a very smart move by government to start looking at the IPO. And this is not, I mean, if you look at the turnover of the LIC, it's like huge. It's like, it's not even, the IPO size is not even 1% of the total turnover. So you can imagine, this is a small, baby step, but these are steps in the right direction. Your last comments before we end, Kanchan.
Yeah, I feel I just want to add that it's a very great move by the government, and there are few people who think that it's not right time, as I mentioned, due to they see that there's a tension between Russia and Ukraine, but I don't think so. There will be any impact on these geopolitical tensions when we're talking about. IPO of LIC, because it's already well established company, and people are quite mature enough, especially when we are talking about the business sense of people. So I think it's we are waiting. It should be done in the month of March. So we are waiting, and we are quite hopeful, and I think it is the way to go.
Excellent. So I think, thank you so much for joining us today and giving your valuable inputs on this particular emerging business trend in India. And Kanchan, that when India does something, it impacts the world. So the IPO will definitely bring a major impact on reviving the global economy. It is going to revive the Indian economy and also the global economy. So we look forward. Thank you so much once again for joining. And next week, we have a very interesting subject. The surveys are being conducted. It is about the Gen Z returning to office, whether they will be able to return to office or not. So that is going to be very, very interesting discussion. Viewers, don't miss it. And if you have not connected with us, once again, I like to show that you can either go to akulmac.live, type in this address and get connected, or you can just point your mobile phone camera on this QR code and get connected instantly. So friends, I like to say goodbye for today,
This is
and
always a
only to catch you in the next Friday, 2:30, Business Bunker. It is a networking program where we allow business to business networking, and also help our expert to have their own online presence globally. We go live on 5 to 6 social media platforms, as always. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.